In a recent episode of Barstool Sports Podcast, Miami Dolphins running back Arian Foster went on the record to say that NFL players receive scripts for their season, implying that the NFL was indeed rigged. Now, this may seem outlandish, but let's consider this for a second. What if the greatest sports moments, the greatest feats of humankind, were never real to begin with? What if it were all a figment of our imagination? Today, we attempt to answer the question, are sports real? Let's begin. Case number 1, NBA All-Star Game 2023. Earlier this year, in sleepy Utah, the NBA All-Star Game took place, bringing the best players from across the league to play in a flashy and competitive game that fans like myself die to see every year. But the game itself wasn't what fans anticipated it for it to be. Players chucking threes, minimal defense, and also this.
So what's it feel like to finally win this thing?
Winner, chicken dinner.
Bruh.
But strangely, one man decided that he was going to go absolutely berserk. Boston's own Jason Tatum. Jason was hitting every shot, splashing it from deep, even taking his own teammate one-on-one. He ended up scoring 55 points, breaking the All-Star Game record for most points in a game. Maybe he just had a great game. Maybe he actually wanted to put on a show. Or maybe there's something more to this. After the game, Tatum posted a photo on Instagram, captioned, "It's gotta be the shoes." Now, what does that mean? The very next day, Tatum released his first signature shoe, the Tatum 1s from the Jordan brand. In fact, he was wearing them during the game itself, a day before they were set to be released. Now, isn't that funny? The only player with the signature shoe releasing ended up breaking records. Was the NBA simply manipulating the triviality of the All-Star Game to sell a pair of sneakers? Were other players coerced to let Tatum score so they can show the powers of his new shoes, even though they were desperate to make their mark in the game? This all seems to be very suspicious, but it's too early to make any strong claims. For all we know, Tatum might have just had really nice shoes. If dining weren't so expensive, I'd probably be wearing a pair right now as well. Case number 2, Super Bowl 57. Slightly before the All-Star Game, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs met in Super Bowl 57, a spectacle foregrounded by clutch football, Rihanna's incredible vocals, and people wearing pillows on their face. The game was going down to the wire. With a minute 54 left in the fourth, and the score is tied at 35, Mahomes throws Juju Smith-Schuster a terrible pass. But wait, there's a holding call. James Bradbury was called for a foul after momentarily grabbing Juju. The penalty allowed for the Chiefs to get ahead and win their second Super Bowl in the last 4 years. Heartwarming story, isn't it? But let's go back to that infamous play. The controversial call led to a timeout in the game. During that timeout, Fox decided to air a commercial marketing what could be the greatest product of all time. You guessed it, Jesus Christ.
Love is louder.
And what does Jesus have to do with football's most awaited game of the year? Everything, of course. But hear this. Juju Smith-Schuster, the man who was allegedly held, is a Christian. Could it be true? Could James Bradbury have been forced by God himself to allow a devout Christian to earn the most coveted prize football has to offer? I don't know about you, but as a Hindu, that doesn't really seem fair to me. But hey, we can't just blame things on God. That'd be catastrophic. Juju might have just been lucky, right?
Ain't believing us. God did.
Case number 3, FIFA World Cup Final 2022. Last year, we witnessed the biggest spectacle in all of sports, the FIFA World Cup final. It was an intense and jaw-dropping match between two countries looking for their third star. In the 108th minute, with the scores tied at 2-2, Lionel Messi kicks the ball into the net off a Hugo Lloris ricochet. The crowd goes crazy. Argentina are in the lead. But wait, something is wrong. The French immediately claim that the goal was offside, with Messi far ahead of all French defenders. But VAR showed that Messi was in fact behind Rafael Varane. Good for him, and good for Argentina, right? No, something is very wrong with this photo. Does this position remind you of someone? Look carefully, because it's an ode to one of society's greatest artists, Ice Spice. Rafael Varane paid homage to a generational talent by sticking his thick ass out so Messi could be behind him. Only 3 weeks later, Ice Spice would release her song, In Her Mood, taking the world by storm. But should we have seen this coming? Did Varane intentionally give up a goal so he could promote the greatest song of all time with his ass? Did Ice Spice's uncontrollable charm bring the 60-something white male FIFA executives to their knees? Perhaps. So what do we learn from all of this? From the shoes, to the Bible, to the ass, I've finally come to my conclusion. As we've seen so far, there's always going to be something beyond the game. Something so powerful that it influences the behavior of the masses in ways in which only the most elite can comprehend. Which is why, to answer the question, are sports real? I've come to this conclusion. Sports are just one giant ad. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with it.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Flame Grill taste with perfect toppers. I rule this day. Lettuce, mayo, pickle, ketchup, it's okay if I don't want that Impossible or bacon Whopper, any Whopper my way. You rule your season today.